Good morning. On this video, we are going to talk about the process guided fresh cheese. The members of this project are Barros Edita, Isa de Yanira, Macas Mayerly, Mero Melanie, and Tituania Mayerly. The purpose of this project is design of the management system.
And now we have the quality and food safety policy, a statement proposed by the team. And now we have our team commitment. As part of our commitment is we are constantly work to continuously improve the processes of making fresh cheese. So the continuously improved processes is the main point of this. Um, this for ensure the consumer receive a product in an appropriate state. And for this, to ensure this, is important to have a safe. The product is safe, free from harmful microorganisms, nutritious, preserving the natural quality of this type of product, of high quality for the application of our strict standards, and with appropriate sensory characteristics that guarantee a pleasant experience. And also we have our policy is aimed at several areas. The first is avoiding a microbiological risk that could affect the consumer health. Maintaining the sensory characteristics, this is the main point that make all fresh cheese unit for their color, textures, and also aroma. And monitoring the traceability of all the input we use, especially the raw material. The raw material for this is the milk. And of course, controlling every stage of the processing from milk resection to the final product, and also the packaging. And in this point we have the important critical control points of the making fresh cheese. The first is the milk resections. We need to make a verification of the physical chemical characteristics of the product, especially of the solid. Also a test of antibiotics and clean illness. The second point is pasteurization. The pasteurization needs to be the 65 Celsius degree for 30 minutes to eliminate the dangerous microorganisms like E. coli, Listeria, Mesophilus, and others. And the other one is fermentation. The ideal temperature for the fermentation is 43 to 37 degrees Celsius. And now here we have the critical point and critical control points. And first we have the critical points, and then we have the critical control points. The critical control point have 5 important steps to have a critical point. First is cleaning and disinfection. This is focused to ensure the food safety, to prevent the presence of mesophilic microorganisms in work areas. The other one is the salty bread cheese. This important control the cure time and quantity to maintain the sensory characteristic of the fresh cheese. The other one is packaging, and labeling. This is important for prevent the microbiological growth during the storage, and for ensure the long shelf life and traceability. And the last one is the refrigeration. This is for maintaining the product stability and safety during the storage. This is complemented with the vacuum packaging and labeling. And here we have the critical control point. We have three critical control points. The first is raw material resections. We need to check to make quality. it is important to have a physical chemical analysis of the milk, like solid content, fat content, protein content, and others. And other that's important is the antibiotic. And others that important is to have a filtration of the milk for any components, any anything. And the other one is pasteurization. The pasteurization eliminates pathogens such as Escherichia coli, Listeria, and this is important to have a pasteurization during 30 minutes to at 65 degrees Celsius. And the other one is fermentation that I mentioned before. This is important. A critical control point is a temperature of 43 to 37 degrees Celsius. This is for avoid condition favorable to pathogen. And in our proposal we have a standard certifications, and we follow both national and international standards to ensure our product is safe and have a high quality. And we have for the national regulation the INE, the Ecuadorian Institute of Standardization. Also we have the Food Safety Regulation, Good Manufacturing Practice, and Health Surveillance and Control Authority in Ecuador. For the international standards, we have the Codex Alimentarius. This is a global food safety guidelines, and also the European Union Food Law, Codex Federal Regulation, and also the ISO standards. This is for the quality and safety management systems. It's important to mention that all of this standard certification is focused in the food safety. And also we think our commitment to sensory characteristics. So these characteristics will guarantee the fresh cheese. The first is the color, and the other one is texture. This need to be typical of fresh cheese. Need to have appropriate smell and a distinct and pleasant taste. And also our team are commitment to the continuous improvement with the processing of this product, the fresh cheese. The continuous improvement are focused in processes review every 3 months, and also ensure product quality and integrity. And now the system objective related to the quality and food safety improvement. And for the objectives, the first we have performs a physical, chemical, and microbiological analysis of the milk prior to industrialization to ensure its quality and safety. The other one is continuously monitoring the critical control points and the critical points to identify and mentioning above. The other one is performs a quality analysis to ensure the standards are met after processing each batch of fresh cheese. And the other one is perform a continuous improvement and training focus on fresh cheese, handling, technology, innovations, among others, to those who process the product.
In the production of the fresh cheese, there exists the 3 points important. The critical control point is the reception of the raw materials. It is very important to verify the physical, chemical, and the microbiological quality of the milk, enzymes, and the additives. The use of contaminated milk could be allow the proliferation of the pathogens. And the other point important is the pasteurization. Due to this continuous production process, the pasteurization must be carried out the temperatures between the 63 degree and the 65 degree for 30 minutes to ensure the destruction of pathogens without affecting the nutritional properties of the fresh cheese. In the other point is the fermentations. Although this point is close associations with quality and they could be considered and the control point if incomplete fermentation occurs or develops under inadequate conditions. For example, the temperature of the 43 degree and the minus 37 degree. It could generate contamination conducive to pathogens. In the brine process exist two critical control points. And the first is reception of the raw material in the water and the salt. There are also a stage in the brine process where the control is critical for safety. It's essential that the water used in the fresh cheese production process meets microbiological standards and the salt is free of the contaminant. That use of the non-potable water containing contaminate salt poses a risk of microbiological proliferations. In the other point is the heat treatment exists the before and the after mechanizations. The mixture can be browned to and the temperature in the range is the 82 degree and the 88 degree. During the two identified heat treatment, this process will ensure the elimination of pathogenic microorganisms that may have contaminated the mixture during the handling. It is essential to comply with the CCP to avoid the presence of the heat-resistant pathogens of spores.
In this part, control plan, inspection, safety, and quality monitoring. Quality control plan: first cheese, company agro-industry processing plant, product pasteurization first cheese, updating desired the quality, safety, and sensory characteristics of the cheese through inspection, sampling, and monitoring at each stage of the process, following national and international standards. Scope of the plan applies for milk transaction to final product distribution and includes production environment, pest control, utensil and equipment, budgeting material, cleaning and sanitation, use of the personal protective equipment, and staff training. Control point in the two parameters: in the area and K control. In the raw material, K control temperature, pH, antibiotics. Production environment, temperature, humidity, lighting, heat. Pass, waiting, inspection and the trams, utensil and equipment, cleaning and condition before and after use, packaging integrity and selling, cleaning and sanitation of products, and ATP testing, PPA, and correct use and daily supervision, training, GMP, hygiene and safely handling, final product, texture, pH, microbial safely, distribution, cold chain, and traceability. In the traceability and record, maintain both the digital and physical record of milk and cheese temperature, microbial results, cleaning and maintain, pest control, review and continue improves. Internal audits every 3 months, formally review annually or after change, implementation of corrective and preventive action.
In fresh cheese production, controlling every step is essential for food safety and product consistency. When something goes wrong in the process, we must respond quickly to protect the product and the consumer. The first action is to identify and separate the affected batch. This prevents any effective product from continuing through the process. Next, we create a non-conformity report. In this report, we explain the type of deviation, the process step, where it happened, and how serious the impact is. Then we perform a root cause analysis. We ask why the problem occurred,
It may be a mechanical failure, a mistake in the grading procedure, or a violation of hygiene standards. Once we understand the cause, we take action to correct it. This could involve fixing equipment, retraining workers, or updating procedures. Finally, we verify that the solution worked. We monitor the process again to confirm that the operations are back normally and the issue will not happen again. In this slide, you can see common examples of failures in fresh cheese production and proper responses. The first example is a pasteurization temperature lower than 63 degrees Celsius. This can allow harmful bacteria to survive. The correction is to stop the batch, check the heating system, and recalibrate it if needed. The second case is using too much rennet. This causes texture problems in the cheese. The corrective action is to recalculate the correct dosage and update the standard procedure to avoid future mistakes. Next, if the salt concentration in the brine is wrong, the cheese may become too salty or unsafe to eat. The response is to revalidate the brining process and increase the frequency of monitoring. The last example is raw milk with too many microorganisms. The solution is to reject the batch, contact the supplier, and review their hygiene conditions and practices. For quality control, we need specific documents to support the system. First, the Food Safety and Quality Manual explains the policy and the structure of our system. Second, we must have clear procedures for each production step, for example, meal reception, pasteurization, coagulation, salting, and packaging. We also need cleaning logs to show proper sanitation. For example, we must record the use of chlorine solutions, 10% for surface and 5% for tools. Another important document is the traceability form. This connects raw materials, batch codes, and the staff involved in the production. It allows us to track any issue to its source. We keep records of nonconformities and the corrective actions we take. Additionally, we must keep training records to show that staff have been properly educated in hygiene and process controls. All this document supports continuous improvement. We check if corrections are effective, document actions to prevent future failures, communicate updates to the team, and follow the cycle of planning, doing checking and acting to ensure product quality over time.
So now we focus on the training and recommendations for the staff regarding best practices. And the first part of the presentation titled Initial Training and Good Manufacturing Practices, I want to explain and describe the foundational actions necessary to ensure food safety and a consistent quality in the fresh cheese production. First, all the personnel of the staff must receive a comprehensive initial training. That is important that was open the journey. This training must cover the good manufacturing practices or personal hygiene and the specific protocols for their work area. To maintain the effectiveness at that training session was necessary that tasks should be repeated every 3 months. This is not only for reinforces critical knowledge, but also provides an opportunity to clarify doubts or receive feedback that was necessary. Regarding the hygiene, one of the most essential yet often and underestimated action is hand washing. The personnel should be trained to perform the proper hand washing and at the times, for example, before the starting work, after breaks, after using the bathroom, after handling raw materials, and whenever was necessary to hand washing. That is concerning attire. The staff must wear clean uniforms, the caps, the face masks, and suitable footwear. They should be instructed not to wear jewelry, watches, or any accessories, and to avoid long or painting nights, and also the use of makeup, for example. That is avoiding the production areas. These measures help to prevent the physical, microbiological contamination in the work areas in the production of cheese. Overall, these practices lay the foundation for a culture of safety and also the discipline in the dairy processing. In this case, we can move in on the second part, and that I will discuss the self-help protocols and the importance. This second section is titled Staff Health and Critical Control Points, and it focuses on two key areas, the personal well-being and the process control. It's critical that all the employees are aware of the importance of the reporting any symptom or illness that may pose a food safety risk. These include the flu-like symptoms, vomiting, or the presence of open wound, such as the condition is not proper adherence could result in the contamination of food products and jeopardize the consumer health. Equally important is the training staff to recognize and manage critical control points or CCPs. These are specific stages in the process where control is essential to prevent or eliminate food safety hazards. For example, these include the reception of raw meal, the pasteurization process, and the fermentation stage. Personnel must understand that not only the location and the function of each CCP, but also the hazards associated with them and the prepared corrective actions in the case of deviation. This ensures that the safety risks are mitigated promptly and effectively. Additionally, the staff must be trained of standard operation procedures of each product fast. This includes the equipment calibration such as pH meters, thermometers, and the lactose scan, as well as proper ingredient handling, monitoring of temperatures and pH levels, and throughout the cleaning and disinfection of protocols for all work areas. This combined the effort reinforce operation and consistency and reduce risks in every production site. In this part, we are going to talk about the expected results and the benefits. In this part of the presentation is titled Expect Outcomes in terms of safety and quality. We examine the direct benefits of implementing a structured food safety and quality system in the production of fresh cheese. First, in terms of safety, the application of strict controls and critical control points significantly reduce the risk of foodborne illnesses in the cheese. Microorganisms such as Pseudomonas, Escherichia coli, and Listeria monocytogenes can be effectively controlled through the preventive measures. According to Arispe and Tapia Maria's 2007, this is not only protects public health but also reduces the likelihood of contamination events. Second, the proper implementation of hygiene protocols such as routine cleaning and the separation of production areas minimize the risk of cross-contamination. This ensures the microbiological safety of the product through its shelf life. Furthermore, compliance with national regulations such as anti-hygiene, accidentally as good manufacturing practices, as well as international standards like Codex Alimentarius and the ISO provides legal assurance and helps ensure food safety certifications. On the quality side, standardizing production processes guarantees the consistency in sensory attributes and physicochemical properties across all batches. Moreover, by applying pasteurization and monitoring microbial activity, the shelf of the product is extended. This outcome is not only improve the product but also strengthen the consumer trust and satisfaction of the consumers. This final section is titled Expected Outcome in terms of sustainability and the commitment, and it highlights how as well structured training and food safety systems benefits the organization in the long term. From a sustainability point of view, standardizing processes and properly training the staff reduce the waste and improves the use of raw materials, energy, and the labor. This optimization of resources directly contributes to environmental and economic sustainability. Furthermore, Maintaining a strong reputation for product safety and quality allows the company to expand its market presence and ensure long-term viability. Consumers tend to prefer and remain loyal to brands they trust. Additionally, including staff in training and safety activities promotes a culture of responsibility and engagement. The employees who understand their role in ensuring product quality are more motivated and commitment this in turn leads to greater operation and efficiency and foster continuous that improved throughout the production chain and, in conclusion, implementing this training program and safety system results not only in a better product but also in a stronger organization with safer processes, improved sustainability, and empower the workers.
In this part, conclusion and recommendation. Conclusion: Fresh cheese requires strict hygienic control due to its high risk of contamination. A technical guide was developed based on Regulation INET 1528 Codex Alimentarius and ISO 22000. Critical control points were identified and must be constantly monitored. The proposed system improves food safety, standardization process, and reduces health risk. Recommendation: training staff in GMP and CCP monitoring, ensure raw milk quality before processing, use proper packaging, and vacuum safely.